The stage is set for an epic final day of group play in the 2025 USL Jägermeister Cup. All 6 groups still up for grabs, 23 of 38 teams still alive, and that includes Detroit City FC as they welcome Westchester SC. Happy to have you along for the ride for this one with Ricky Lopez-Espin. I'm Joe Malfa. Ricky, here's the 11 for Detroit City in a must-win situation.
You have to look at that front four for Danny Dacchio. Cedeno's going to have their freedom just to go and search a game, which will allow Reese Williams and Atasuf to be really expansive and aggressive. Darren Smith, he's going to be the focal point of everything. Look for him to stay as high as he possibly can. Service into him will be crucial. As we look for Westchester, they have nothing to lose, so they're going to go for it. Obregon, look for him to really occupy the 2 center backs, which will give Vasquez his first professional start. Number 11 on the left-hand side, getting him touches and getting him in a rhythm. Johnson and Okiyoshi will be the 2 players essentially that want to dictate tempo here on the road.
16 more games to be played around the Jägermeister Cup, a bevy of those kicking off here in the 7 o'clock Eastern hour. Far too many situations than we can actually calculate and give you, but the case is simple for Detroit City. They must win, and away we go with Detroit City from left to right in the rouge and Westchester from right to left in the white with the yellow trim. Second edition of this USL Jägermeister Cup. First to include teams in both the USL Championship and USL League One. And these fans have been waiting for this one here at Keyword Stadium in Hamtramck, Michigan. And happy to have you along for this one with Ricky Lopez-Espin. I'm Joe Malfa. These 2 teams have already met once this year. Came in US Open Cup play back in April. A win 3-1 for Detroit City, but it was tight until late. 85th minute penalty put them ahead 2-1. And they sealed it in stoppage time after Westchester had to open up. A lot different right now as compared to what it was back then for both of these teams. Detroit City at the time were flying high. They were top 3 in the Eastern Conference and USL Championship. Westchester at the time were down near the bottom of the USL League One standings. They've turned their own corner here in their inaugural season. So they are motivated to right the wrong of the loss 3 months ago and play spoiler. In the words of head coach Dave Carton, they want that USL Championship scalp. And on the other side for Danny Dacchio and Detroit City, it is a must-win scenario to stay alive in Jägermeister Cup. Taken away up the field by Joel Johnson. Looking early on for J.C. Obregon, leading man up top for Westchester. 8 goals in the regular season, 14 in all competitions. You could score in a bunch of different ways, from distance, in the box, poachers type of goals. You name it, he can do it. Reigning USL League One Golden Boot winner, and he leads that race again this year as he chases and forces Michael Bryant. Just nodded along and had a play for a Westchester throw.
He's going to be a big focal point for Westchester, especially at the way that Dave Carton wants to play, understanding that Detroit City, they want to be very compact, especially in central locations, so the wide parts of the field for the visiting side will be crucial, and in doing that, now expect a lot of service, and that is exactly where Obregon is at his best, in around that 18-yard box within his movement and timing.
Long throw for Westchester, bounces awkwardly before it's gathered by Carlos Saldana. The name of the game in USL Jägermeister Cup is attacking style football. It's why the first tiebreaker in the wild card chase in this tournament is goals scored rather than goal differential. So you can expect Detroit City to just go for it in this one. They have to win, and the more goals they score, the greater their chances of getting through in that wild card position pending results from elsewhere.
And we've seen a little bit of a tactical change for Danny Dacchio in Detroit City. Diouf is going to stay right next to Darren Smith, so you have 2 strikers higher up the field in that aggressive nature for Danny Dacchio in Detroit.
Latched onto by Stephen Payne, centering, looking for Obregon, flicked away by Shane Wheat. Further away by Yamazaki. Long throw from Westchester. Flicked on and out for a goal kick as Saldana sees it past his post. So welcome you those on ESPN2 with Ricky Lopez-Espin. I'm Joe Malfa here from Keyword Stadium in Hamtramck, Michigan. Final day of group play in the 2025 USL Jägermeister Cup. Detroit City FC of the USL Championship in a must-win situation. Westchester SC of USL League One would love to come on the road and take down a higher division team. What it'll do for their confidence going forward, playing spoiler for a team who is mathematically eliminated in Westchester, but they want some revenge after falling 3 months ago on this field against Detroit City. Long over the top for Darren Smith, retreating at Hammersley. Darren Smith had it poked away by Bobby Pierre and out for a corner.
Fantastic recognition here from Detroit City, understanding that the high line of Westchester is really aggressive, so that allows the ball over the top. Darren Smith, one of, if not the best in terms of his movement at playing off of the shoulder of his opposing center back. Good recovery in the end from Bobby Pierre for Westchester.
Name of the game is goal scoring in Jägermeister Cup. It's why goals scored is the first tiebreaker for the wild card chase above goal differential. We expect both these teams to be playing open, attacking-minded style today. That's what we pulled from our conversations with the respective head coaches, Danny Dicchio of Detroit City FC, Dave Carton of Westchester SC. In the words of Danny Dicchio, they'd rather win this 6-5 than 1-0, even though the aggravation would be there for allowing 5 goals. They would take it at the expense of then instead scoring 6. They have a chance at their first here from the corner. Cedeno goes short to Diouf. Edge of the area, Williams headed clear. Still alive for Yamazaki.
If you do elect to change the angle on a corner kick, you have to have the ability to elude that initial line of pressure. Set pieces are going to be really important for Detroit City, just in the matter of the size that they have within that back line of Devin Amumensa, Michael Bryan, and Shane Wheat.
Andrew Hammersley getting the start in goal today for Westchester. This one bounds all the way through. Coming into the day, all 6 groups in Jägermeister Cup were still up for grabs. No team had yet clinched the top spot in any of the groups. 23 of the 38 teams were all still mathematically alive in either their group races or the wild card race. Sets the table for a very dramatic day under the USL umbrella. Second edition of this tournament, the first to include USL Championship and League One. For those of you who are still tuned in on ESPN News, you can flip over to ESPN2 to catch the remainder of Detroit City FC and Westchester SC. Obregon draws the foul. Sneaky striker, and that's where, again, he just shows you that veteran mindset, the little things that don't show up on the stat sheet, but a free kick earned using his body in a wise way.
A recognition first to drop it and just help out defensively, and then he understands that Wheat is going to come really aggressively, so he needs to beat his individual marker to this ball. Gives his side the ability just to slow the game down and take the sting out of Keyworth and get some confidence for the visiting side.
Slip through for Okiyoshi. A newcomer for Westchester, just came on loan 10 days ago. Over from Rhode Island of the USL Championship. Starting to find a role in this midfield for Westchester. Good run out from Yamazaki. Nearly turned into something. There's Danny Dicchio, head coach of this Detroit City FC side. Second season as the head coach. Led them into the playoffs last year. They suffered an upset at home in the first round against Tampa Bay. Started this year in a very positive way. They hit a rut after May 3rd and dropped off. Still in a playoff spot in the Eastern Conference, but just 1 win since May 3rd. There's a clear before and after point for this team. They've had some injuries to navigate. Even though the results haven't been there and the goals haven't been there the last couple of games, though, it feels like they're starting to get their feet underneath them once again.
And it starts with this brilliant opportunity for Detroit City. You mentioned it, that they need to win, and how are they going to win? They need to score goals, which they haven't done as of late. So you have to think that the messaging for Danny Dicchio was just challenging his attacking players, saying it's an opportunity to try to advance to the next round, but also just to gain some momentum in that final third.
Here's Ates Diouf, key to what Detroit City FC have been doing these last couple of weeks. Finding a replacement for Ben Morris, one of their leading men in the attack, who tore his ACL. Ates Diouf has stepped up in a big way. Samu Mensah looking over the top for Jay Chapman. Pleas of handball not given. Darren Smith lays it off. Cedeno back to Smith. He leaves a chance for Detroit City, blocked by Okiyoshi.
Just see how aggressive Detroit City is starting this game within the first 10 minutes, leaving this back three isolated in possession, which gives Reese Williams, Yamazaki, Jay Chapman the ability just to fill in the gaps higher in the attacking third. So Danny Dicchio, he wants to be aggressive. He wants numbers in the attacking box, and we've seen that to start this game. Good start for the home side.
And they need it. Again, must-win scenario for Detroit City. So many possible permutations throughout the day, and we'll try to keep you updated on best we can in both this group and in the wild card chase.
With being aggressive, it's in and out of possession, so if you do lose the ball, how quickly can you recover it? And I want you just to watch the movement of Reese Williams. Does not turn off, continues with this play, and in the end, fantastic recognition from Okiyoshi just to drop down and likely deny Detroit their first.
One of the key caveats as far as the wild card race in Jägermeister Cup, you must be in second place in your group to be wild card eligible. It is not simply the two best non-group winners where you can have a second and third place team from the same group go through. You have to be in second place to be eligible. So as it stands, Detroit City need a victory here, and they need some help from Hartford. And this is a look at the wild card standings entering the day. All these teams coming into the day were not the leaders of their respective groups. You see Detroit City at the bottom of that heap right now. Top two second place teams advance. Detroit City must win in order to have an opportunity to go through. Hartford Athletics second behind Phoenix there. That's the key. Hartford is second in Group 4 right now. Detroit City sitting behind them in Group 4. Detroit City need a victory. They need Rhode Island to take care of Hartford Athletic, and Reese Williams has to take care of himself here after an early yellow card.
A big challenge for Reese Williams in terms of his discipline and positioning for the remainder of this game to see yellow within the first 12 minutes.
Whipped in from the free kick, dealt with by Detroit City. Dangerous attack for Westchester. Their question all year has been on the back end of the field. Here's a little bit of the build-out on Detroit's scenarios. They cannot win Group 4. They can only advance as the wild card team. But again, this doesn't really matter for them unless they get some help from elsewhere. They have to pass Hartford Athletic in the group, which is very much possible. Westchester just looking to play spoiler today, and it's something that is very much on their minds. Dave Carton, their head coach, in our conversation with him, said as much. They would like to find a way, get some revenge for their Open Cup loss against Detroit City a couple of months ago, in a game here that could mark a big turning point for a club in its first season in USL League One.
Talked about the different look for Detroit City going forward within Test Youth standing right next to Darren Smith. So now you have two strikers that you can play into, but centrally as well, Jay Chapman and Ryan Williams. Ryan Williams is going to be that single pivot, more of a defensive-minded center midfielder, which gives Jay Chapman the ability just to create an overload. So central locations is a point of emphasis for Danny Dicchio in a way that he can find success going forward.
High pressure from Detroit City, trying to lock Westchester in on this throw deep in their own side. And it looked like that throw went out and then came back in. And that's the case, so possession goes over to Detroit City. They get it in quickly. Shane Wheat.
And especially when building out of the back row for Detroit City, if you have the ability to start on one side of the field and end on the other, with the way that Danny Dicchio is setting up tactically, Yamazaki on this right-hand side, Reese Williams on the left-hand side, so they're going to provide width, they're going to be expansive, so there's always going to be an outlet to go out to the weak side.
Here's a look at the live standings in Group 4. As we sit, Detroit City need to leapfrog Hartford. We'll keep you updated on that game. It's a Rhode Island home game against Hartford. Those two teams met on that field last week in El Clamico. A new rivalry in USL Championship. Simplest way forward for Detroit City is just a regulation win, and then have Hartford fall in regulation against Rhode Island, and then everything can build from there in terms of the wild card standings we showed you. The 6 group winners go through, the 2 wild card teams go through, and we play the quarters in Jägermeister Cup on August 20th around USL. Amumensa. Ryan Williams. Trying to work it around for Yamazaki, read by Noah Powder. Westchester happy to have Noah Powder back in the mix as the left wing back. He was away at the Gold Cup with Trinidad and Tobago. Williams. Fed through for Smith on the turn. Darren Smith took a deflection, still loose. Shout for a penalty, waved off by the referee. First time that Tahan Yaya has had to make a decision.
Just mentioned the positioning of Jay Chapman. Ryan Williams pulls the strings from a deep lying position, so now Jay Chapman has the freedom to go wide, but also to come centrally. Good reading of the play from Yamazaki, very soft as he goes down, looking for this. Good no call by a referee here as we take a look at Dave Carton.
Dave Carton, first season at the helm for Westchester in their inaugural season, former assistant at Charlotte Independence, formerly of USL Championship, now of USL League One. A lot of experience in the USL ecosystem for Dave Carton. Early in the year, struggled. A team that was 1-4-5. They've turned it around to 2-2-1 over the last 5 games. He feels they've turned that corner, and keeping it going today with some momentum would be massive if they could pull the upset. Another corner for Detroit City, short to Diouf. Matthias Diouf rockets one over everybody. Noah Powder did pick up a yellow card in the aftermath of that last scuffle.
Back-to-back corner kicks that are just wasted for Detroit City. You and I had the ability to speak with Danny Dicchio when we play now at asked him what are keys that you need to do well to be successful here in this match. He said, number 1, we need to get numbers inside the 18-yard box. We needed to be aware that we make that first contact when the ball is pumped into the attacking 18-yard box and set plays. First 17 minutes here, 2 good opportunities that have not been taken by Detroit.
Pressure early on from Detroit City. Quarter of an hour gone. They have a possession edge of 77-23. All the way back to Saldana. Shane Wheat playing his first game as a 30-year-old. Celebrated his birthday last week. Williams looking long, settled by Yamazaki. Great first touch. Back around to Noah Powder. There's Vasquez. Ryan Vasquez making his first start as a pro for Westchester. The 18-year-old represents El Salvador at the youth national team level.
Reese Williams clearly frustrated and not getting called for the foul there. Thinks Makic comes in extremely aggressive. Was booked for a foul earlier in this game. Good ball here.
Oh, they wanted to go quickly. Referee Atahan Yaya was not allowing that. Wanted to come in and have a chat. Devin Amumensa unhappy that was not allowed to continue. It seems like Atahan Yaya signaling that the ball wasn't where it was supposed to be. Trying to lip read there. Amumensa was claiming that, oh yeah, it was a Westchester player who moved it away from the spot. It's not his fault.
That just tells you about a little bit of the player that Cedeno is. Just so cheeky, so clever. can gain any sort of advantage if you give him the opportunity to.
There he is again, Jessiel Cedeno. Carves one up, looking in the neighborhood again of Chapman. Okiyoshi, Powder. A lot of space for Noah Powder. Steps up into it, still Powder on the run. JC Obregon, overlap coming from Stephen Payne. Obregon goes for goal. In the end, nothing comes of it.
Comes down to recognizing the situation here for Westchester, understanding that Detroit City needs to go and search this result, so they're going to throw a lot of numbers forward. So if you do have the ability to regain possession, your first look needs to be forward, and when you go, you need to go quick and be as vertical as you possibly can at trying and finding that opening goal here.
First two goals of the day in this time slot we've seen. Charlotte Independence up 1-0 on the Richmond Kickers. FC Naples up 1-0 on the road over Greenville. Neither of those goals impact Group 4 here at the moment. It could impact the wild card race. Chance here for Williams down the left wing. Williams looking back post, overshoots everybody. Just feels like they're a little too amped up right now, Detroit City. A lot of the crosses, including the corner, have been well overshot. Now Wheat, better weight on it this time. Cedeno elects to keep it in play instead of letting it go out for the corner, and probably should have chose differently.
Understanding that they need to score goals, that they need to be aggressive. They're just trying to do too much at such a short amount of time and trying to hit that home run ball. So many times you and I have the ability to speak with coaches. They talk about composure. So once you do get to that final third, that's when you need to slow the game down, take a deep breath, and do the simple things well. That's about the third time that we've seen an overhit ball, because there's some really good actions going forward for Detroit City, but just need more quality in the final third.
Andrew Hammersley has been the #2 keeper in the regular season for the most part for Westchester. Dane Jackaman has won that job, made 9 starts. Hammersley's made 5 still of his own. He's been their cup keeper though for the most part. In between the sticks again today. Mensah chested down, had Obregon running in behind. First tiebreaker in the wild card standings. Comes down to goals scored, not goal differential. So it behooves Detroit City to throw caution to the wind today, even if it means conceding 3 or 4 if you're playing wide open. So long as you score 5 and get the win, it's all that matters. Through their first 3 games, they have 5 goals. It puts them toward the bottom portion of the pack in terms of goals scored among wild card contenders. So Danny Dicchio sees it in such a way that they probably need about 3 goals today. There's no definitive way of saying that until seeing how the other results materialize. But their target's right around that 3-goal mark today in a victory. Here's Diouf going for goal, almost the first of the couple they're looking for. He has that in his bag, and he puts it on display here.
This is when Atis Diouf is at his best, when he makes the movement ahead of the ball, which gives him the ability to be isolated. Now he has the defender at his mercy. He can go down to the end line. He can cut centrally. Good action, aggressive action from the young attacking player for Detroit City. But once he approaches this ball, his shoulders go back, and that's why it goes up and over the crossbar. 11
regular season appearances this year for Atis Diouf. Only 2 of those starts, has a pair of goals to his name. He's only taken over recently after the injury to Ben Morris. And we actually had a chance to talk to Bob Lilly of the Pittsburgh Riverhounds this week as well. They just played Detroit City last week. And the first thing he talked about when we were asking him to assess that game was just heaping praise on Atis Diouf.
When you have a player of his quality, but also how electric he is, his first step and being explosive at getting away from his individual marker, does a good job at getting himself into dangerous areas. But now you just need more production from a player of his quality. More goals, more assists, and that's going to be the next step in the progression for Diouf as he goes forward in his professional career.
Some games coming up in the 7:30 window as well. Minutes away from kickoff there. Had one game earlier in the afternoon with Orange County beating the Oakland Roots. doesn't really impact the wild card standings too much. And Saldana has to deal with an awkward ball back. In fact, most teams were actually rooting for Orange County in that game. Oakland could have made some noise on the periphery of wild card standings, but not really the case anymore. 8 games going on right now. 2 more set to kick off momentarily. 2 more in the 8 o'clock hour, 2 more in the 9 o'clock hour, 1 at 10, 1 at 11, all times Eastern. 16 more games in all that need to go final on this last day of group play. And the Jägermeister Cup. Here's Artes Diouf once again. Beats his man, taken down, should be yellow. And it will be. Juan Palma into the book. That's 2 members of that back line now already for Westchester. Juan Palma and Noah Powder, who have seen yellow.
Just talked about the cleverness of Artes Diouf and how quick he is, but also very comfortable in tight spaces. Notice how quickly he recognizes when Palma steps in. That's when he just moves the ball out of the way. No need, if you're a defender, to go into that challenge that aggressively. You just need to move your feet and keep Diouf in front of you. Good opportunity here for Detroit City just to put this ball into the mixer and cause some little bit of chaos in front of Hammersley.
And their 0-0 draw last week in the regular season against Pittsburgh, they had a lot of these opportunities, be it corners or wide free kicks, where they never really found an opportunity from it. And that was something that Danny Dicchio harped on in our conversation this week. Just put the ball in a dangerous enough position where you get a lucky bounce, where you find a secondary runner who can pounce to it and knock a loose ball home. They didn't do that last week. Too often, that first ball was met by a defender and headed 10, 15 yards clear. That's what we've seen so far tonight through 25 minutes. Either that or a service that has been well overshot by Detroit City. See if they can finally rein it in here halfway through this first half. Diouf or Cedeno? It'll be Jessiel Cedeno, edge of the area. Darren Smith going for goal. Something off the training ground, but he missed it wide.
Clever from Danny Dicchio in Detroit City, having everyone crash towards that goal line to just create a little bit of an avenue from Darren Smith. But look at the ball from Cedeno. It's bouncing, and it's a little bit behind Darren Smith, so it makes life very difficult for the striker, number one, to hit a flat ball, but also to get his hips wrapped around it, facing his attacking goal. Need more quality on the ball laid into from Cedeno.
Obregon nearly there. Back for Palma, awkward ball. Out for Detroit City throw. Let's look at the scores from elsewhere. Nothing yet, but Hartford just picked up a red card. They're down to 10 men on the road against Rhode Island as the flag comes up here on Detroit City. That's a big moment because Hartford is the team that is right now boxing out Detroit City from being wild card eligible. You have to be in second place in your group to be wild card eligible. For Detroit City to get there, they need a win and a Hartford loss. So Hartford going down to 10 men at the 30-minute mark is very good news for Detroit City.
Moments ago, we saw Dave Carden extremely active on his touchline here, wanting the players, essentially Okiyoshi and Johnson, just to slow the game down and get some confidence. It's been all one-way traffic in favor of Detroit City, understanding that Detroit needs that result, so there is going to be times in areas, watch out.
Late decision, but still given. Free kick for Westchester. And a yellow shown to Ryan Williams. Earlier, the yellow again was to Reese Williams, no relation, but Ryan Williams also in the book now as well.
Just want you to watch the left arm of Ryan Williams here. Yes, you want to be able to protect yourself, but once you raise it around that head and neck area, that's going to get you in trouble, deserving of a yellow card. Right here, pushes away, extension, catches JC Obregon. And another good opportunity here for Westchester, now going back the other way to try to open up the goal scoring here.
In case you're wondering if that maybe rises to the thought of a red card, elbow, forearm to the face, there is no VAR in the equation here, so the call made is the call that stands. But at least still a yellow for Ryan Williams. Oh, now it doesn't matter whether it's Reese Williams or Ryan Williams. If we say a Williams picks up a yellow,
right.
It's a second yellow.
Makes our life a little bit easier, right?
It's a bad type of bingo right now if you're Detroit City. Both Williamses now have to be careful. Reese, the 29-year-old, operating as a left winger today. Ryan Williams, the defensive midfielder, who goes back to 2017 in the USL Championship. Most of his career spent in the lower tiers of England. He's been a mainstay for Detroit now these last 2 seasons. Both in the book inside of a half hour. Obregon and Powder standing over this. Given the track records of both, you'd expect this to be Obregon if he fancies a go at goal. If it's a service, you expect it to be Powder with the left foot. It is Obregon looking at the end line, but doesn't end up in a playable position as we reach the half-hour mark.
Such a difficult technique from that distance in that area of the field for Obregon, because you need to lift the ball, allowing your teammate to get on the end of it, but also to get it deep enough that the goalkeeper can't come off of his line. I think he's caught between 2 minds there, JC Obregon, because the way that he approached the ball, it seemed like he was going to have a shot on target. Watch out here.
Obregon, 3v3. Obregon feeds it through. Brian Vasquez. Teenager in his first start, looking toward goal, headed away by Michael Bryant. Palma, wide for Payne. Stephen Payne was a big get this offseason for Westchester. He's been a key starter for them coming over from forward Madison. So he has experience in this tournament. Stephen Payne last year with Madison made it to the final. They finished as runners-up in the Jägermeister Cup. And this is the first year that this cup features USL Championship and League One. Looking forward to seeing how it grows from here. Before we start talking about the growth of this cup for next year, have the quarterfinals coming on August 20th. The 6 group winners and 2 wildcard teams. 23 of the 38 teams alive coming into today. That includes Detroit City. So Williams bends it in, and it's gathered by Hammersley. The USL on ESPN2 winds down July with 2 conference matches between teams fighting to stay in their respective playoff races. You can watch Tuesday the 29th at 7 Eastern for an Eastern Conference matchup between Pittsburgh Riverhounds and Miami FC. And on Wednesday, July 30th, 10 p.m. Eastern in the Western Conference, Orange County takes on Phoenix Rising. Both of those here on ESPN2. Glad to have you with us here on ESPN2 on this Saturday evening for USL Jägermeister Cup action from Hamtramck, Michigan, Keyword Stadium on the outskirts of Detroit, where Detroit City FC welcome Westchester SC. Alongside Ricky Lopez-Espin, I'm Joe Malfa. Glad to have you along for the ride. Must win for Detroit City. Westchester looking to play spoiler. Amu Mensah pressuring and winning it for Detroit City, but Cedeno pokes it away. One back by Amu Mensah. Joel Johnson, outlet to Powder, but play stops here. Man down in the middle is Okiyoshi for Westchester. Seemed to catch a stray forearm to the face.
Over the last 5 minutes, been a bit sloppy in terms of Detroit City trying to go forward. Just too many bodies. Essentially, the left arm for Diouf catches Okiyoshi. No ill will. Just very unfortunate for the center midfielder for Westchester. And you just see Dave Carton trying to instill some confidence to his young attacking player. Vasquez, getting him more touches, getting him a little bit more confident will be crucial, because if they can provide width, now that can allow JC Obregon some more time and space in central locations.
Taimu Okiyoshi seems to be okay as he's back to his feet. First-year pro out of Marshall, who have sneakily become a little powerhouse in college soccer. He made it to 2 college cups with the Thunder and Herd. Okiyoshi, a semi-finalist for the Mac Herman Trophy last year. That is essentially the Heisman of college soccer. Looks like he got the thumbs up from the trainer. There was no yellow shown on the play, so he does have to come off here before he comes back on. It'll be a drop ball for Westchester to get things started again. Very physical through the first 34 minutes between these sides. It's not necessarily a rivalry. It's only the second time they're ever meeting, but it's such a unique circumstance. Tried to do some digging, could not find an identical situation in this one, where a League One team has gone on the road against the same championship team twice in the same year. That's how the luck of the draw went for Westchester. An Open Cup coming here to Detroit City, and here again in Jägermeister Cup. And that last game was so intense, down to the wire. Game-winning goal for Detroit City came in the 85th minute. So there's some unfinished business for Westchester, even though they're mathematically eliminated from Jägermeister Cup. And it's manifesting itself. They have been going at it with Detroit City through 35 minutes.
And you had a really good question to Dave Carton when we had the ability to speak with him, saying what was the difference of Westchester from that game to now this game here in Jägermeister Cup. And he said, look, we're a little bit more mature, we're more experienced, but more importantly,
Darren Smith trying to find his way through, forced away, stumbling, free kick given in a great spot. Just as you were saying, it was some of that maturity they lacked 3 months ago that they feel they've improved now. That right there is a little bit of an immature foul for Palma, who's on a yellow. It's a 2v1 for a player facing away from goal. No need for that foul.
If you can get Diouf and Darren Smith playing off of one another, now it's two real weapons going forward. First it's Bobby Pierre, then it's Palma. No need to even engage in any sort of contact because Darren Smith is going away from goal. You make him play negative, your job is done. You become a little bit too aggressive now. About 20 to 22 yards out. Really good opportunity here for Ryan Williams as he stands over this ball to try to open it up for Detroit.
This is almost exactly where you could place a free kick if you had an option. It's far enough where you can get it up and over the wall, but still down under the bar. '37th minute here at Keyword Stadium. Elsewhere, still 0-0 between Rhode Island and Hartford. Detroit City need a bad result from Hartford in that game, and they need a win of their own here. This is all Ryan Williams on this free kick. Nobody else even over for a look. He took the ball, he put it down, he takes charge. Hammersley in goal awaits. Ryan Williams right into the wall. Bouncing ball he keeps alive. Headed away by Bobby Pierre. And another moment wasted for Detroit City.
Just need more quality there from Ryan Williams. If you are going to try to go up and over the wall, you need to get underneath it. Good idea here to try to play Jay Chapman. We've seen a different look, especially essentially for Detroit City, almost playing as a triangle with Ryan Williams at the base, Cedeno and Jay Chapman playing in those half spaces. And what that does, now you have two options. You can go directly wide into Yamazaki and Reese Williams, but you can also come centrally, and that creates an overload, but also gives more flexibility, more rotation, and more movement between Darren Smith and Atis Diouf going forward.
Cedeno. Heavy possession advantage still for Detroit City. It's sort of what we expected coming in. 73-27 in their favor. Even though the goal hasn't come yet and that grade A scoring chance hasn't come yet, what they're doing with this possession is tiring Westchester out. And it's a Westchester team that's very short-handed today. They've still had a bit of the injury bug biting them. They only have 3 professional contract outfield players on the bench. You're allowed 7 on the bench, they only have 5. One's a goalkeeper, one is a player who signed an academy contract this morning. The other 3 are professionally signed guys who they rely on regularly. So they are very short-handed. They cannot really impact this game a ton in terms of the subs. So even though the goals aren't coming right now for Detroit City, the possession is certainly tiring Westchester out, and a short-handed Westchester.
Just need to play at a really high tempo if you are Detroit City. Move the ball from left to right, make Westchester start to chase a little bit more, and when those gaps open up, that's when you try to manipulate and penetrate centrally And the key for Westchester, if you are going to be under this amount of pressure, is how compact can you keep your lines. Your 2 lines of 4 right in front of Hammersley need to be very tight, just condensing that space and just allowing Detroit to come around you, never through you.
The USL on CBS Sports Network wraps up July with a championship showdown. Eastern Conference Hartford Athletic take on one of the top teams in the Western Conference, New Mexico United. That is Wednesday, July 30th at 8 p.m. Eastern on CBS Sports Network. Obregon just waiting for his moment to impact things on the other end. 14 goals in all competitions, leading Westchester. Golden Boot leader in the regular season campaign right now in USL League One. Part of the issue for Westchester this year is not really finding anybody to support the goal scoring of Obregon. They've scored 28 goals in all competitions. He has 46% of them coming in. That is just a team begging for somebody else to step up. Brian Vasquez gets a look tonight. The 18-year-old in his first professional start. That ball still in motion. Carlos Saldana will have to retake the goal kick. Pretty much did the same thing he did the first time, but not going to make somebody retake it, I suppose. Amu Mensah striding ahead, the center back, Amu Mensah. Look at this. Tries to sneak it inside, but Palma is there. Payne clears.
When building out in situations just like this for Detroit City, good move here from Jay Chapman.
Amu Mensah was still lingering forward from that last run, could not handle it. Bounces to Smith. Off the redirect by Williams. Here's Darren Smith. Rolls it back, Jay Chapman. Williams, patient Williams blocked. Chapman chested down, centering, Smith turns, hits. Did not get much of it. Hammersley makes the stop.
Good extra effort from a number of Detroit City players versus Jay Chapman, Reese Williams, Darren Smith just getting himself involved into a dangerous area. Awkwardly how this ball comes in, unable to make any contact. If you are a striker and you're sitting about 6 yards out, you do not need to go for power. You just need to simply redirect it into a corner. But in moments like this for Detroit City, when building out of the back, you need a vertical run. You need a threat to play in behind. If you don't get the ball, what that does, that pulls out one of the center backs, makes them drop deep, and that's when you can operate in those half spaces.
Williams, Chapman is looking again for Smith. It took a deflection. Westchester is not allowing any easy passageway through on these services. Fed through for Diouf. Fontes Diouf, heavy touch. Goal kick on the way. Remember, Detroit City must win this game. They need help from elsewhere, with Hartford stumbling. And then there are a dozen other teams alive in the wild card race. So they need a lot of other results to go their way, but none of that matters unless they win here. Getting a win with 2 or 3 goals in the process would be a big help as well. First tiebreaker is goals scored. They have 5 through their first 3 games. 5 wouldn't cut it. 7, 8 goals maybe puts them in the realm of a wild card contender. Danny Dicchio knows it. Wants his team to just go for it today. We've seen that in some respects. Committing a lot forward, dominating the control of the ball, but they've yet to get an official shot on target still.
You and I had the ability to be on the call for the game against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds about a week ago here at Keyworth. Very similar first half, doing a lot of the good stuff, getting themselves into that final third, but just decision making, but also the tempo gets a little bit slower once they get into around that attacking half of the field for Danny Dicchio, that's when you need to be quicker, you need to be more decisive, and players just to take chances. As a game like this, it sets up perfectly for players just to produce those individual brilliance, whether it is a combination, a shot from target. Put the ball on target, you give yourself a chance, and then the chaos can start to ensue.
We certainly have the guys capable of that between Darren Smith, Atez Diouf, Jesse Cedeno, all guys who have that magic that they're capable of producing. Here is Diouf. Springs it through for Shane Wheat.
Perfect example right there. It takes a second too long for Wheat to make a decision. If you are going to go wide, take your first touch out of your body. Your second contact needs to be into Yamazaki.
The next games to kick off coming in the 8 Eastern window. Birmingham, Madison, Omaha, El Paso. Currently 10 games ongoing around Jägermeister Cup. The biggest bit of news Detroit City needs is a goal from Rhode Island. It's still scoreless, though, in that game between Rhode Island and Hartford. Well, Hartford down a man. They have been since the half-hour mark as we're into stoppage time here in this first half. 4 minutes tacked on. Cedeno. Williams cutting in, looking at goal. Half-hearted effort. Comes out to Wheat. Diouf. Williams. Serving, deflected, read well by Yamazaki, brought down, laid it off for Chapman, deflected over the bar. Corner coming for Detroit City. Nice flurry here in stoppage time.
Starts with the numbers, getting around that 18-yard box and just being aggressive. The Yamazaki, Darren Smith, Atez Diouf mentality just to get themselves in a dangerous area. Now it comes down to decision-making for Yamazaki, understanding that Jay Chapman can just run onto it and hit it first touch.
Cedeno swings in the corner, back post. Amumensa was held. Penalty! He couldn't quite get up for it. Put it in the hands of the referee at the Hanyaya, and a penalty in stoppage time in this first half for Detroit City.
The first time that we've seen quality service from a corner kick from Cedeno to that back post. And I'll tell you what, J.C. Obregon Jr. has a handful of the jersey of Devin Amumensa, not allowing him to go out and attack this ball. It's a clear pen. And what an opportunity this is for Detroit City right before halftime to get some momentum going into the second 45.
Was curious who might step up to take this. Your leading scorer in Darren Smith, who's been your leading man this year, or this man, Atez Diouf, who has stepped up as of late and could use a goal for his confidence to mark what has been a really strong recent stretch of play. It'll be Atez Diouf against Andrew Hammersley. He scored 2 games ago in the regular season, Atez Diouf. In stoppage, Diouf scores! Just beyond the reach of Hammersley. Detroit City have life in the wild card chase.
What an opportunity this is for Atez Diouf, the young striker, to really become a leader for Detroit City. Once you look at the back post area, J.C. Obregon Jr. has a handful of Devin Amumensa's jerseys, so 12 yards out we go. He actually slips when he does approach this ball, but hits it well enough to get it just by the outstretched arm of Hammersley down to his right-hand side. And that young man has had himself a fantastic last couple months at being a true player for Detroit City.
45+3 officially. That goal scored the other way. Chance now for Westchester, fed through by Vasquez. Shot for a handball and a penalty at this end. The news not all good though for Detroit City. I mentioned 45+3 the goal here. 45+3 in Rhode Island. Hartford down a man, took a 1-0 lead on Rhode Island. So good news here, goal for Detroit City. Bad news there, where they need Hartford to lose. The good news earlier was that they were down a man, but despite that, up a goal. And yellow just brandished. Unclear if Atahanyaya gave the free kick, and he did. He was communicating with his assistant referees in the earpiece, so he did drag this back for a free kick coming for Westchester. Yellow card shown to Shane Wheat. Chance here on the free kick for Westchester to get that goal back. Two shots, nothing on target yet for Westchester. Obregon goes for a goal, nearly surprising Saldana. And now tempers flaring here. It has been boiling here in this half. Yamazaki goes down easily, more shoves ensue. Palma's already on a yellow, and he's the one who helped ignite this. So something to decide here for our referee. The catalyst for this whole scuffle was Palma, who's being pulled away now by his teammate.
Obregon Jr. just tries to catch Saldana sleeping. He hits it well, actually. Just straight central down this goal, and right there, that little push out from Palma, just no need. Saldana doesn't take kindly to it, and now the chaos starts to ensue.
And a yellow was shown to Noah Powder. He was not part of the initial scope of this, but there was a secondary scuffle while we were showing you that replay, and Noah Powder just got himself sent off. The concern initially was for Juan Palma, who was also on a yellow, igniting this whole thing. He walked away. Cooler heads prevailed, but Noah Powder ends up with a second yellow. Silly in that moment.
Just silly. From your two players that are on a booking of Palma and Powder, there is no need to engage in anything off of the ball. You have to be aware of the situation at hand. Left side of your screen, Powder having some words with Michael Bryant, and whatever he said got him sent off. No need, just very naive from first Palma to engage and start this whole thing, and then Noah Powder to get an early shower and leave his side at a disadvantage for the whole second half here.
Well, this was relatively quiet and straightforward for 45 minutes. Erupted here in first half stoppage time. First the penalty and the goal, then the red card against Westchester. And we went into the 45th minute, 0-0, playing 11v11. Now it's 1-0 Detroit City, who are now also up a man.
You thought there was a challenge for Danny Dicchio going into this match. Now it has to come higher. The intensity has to rise, the quality, because you have this game in the palm of your hands. You need goals, and you need them quick.
The bad news, though, for Detroit City from elsewhere, while all that was going on here, Hartford now leads Rhode Island. So unless they get into second place, Detroit City, they are not wild card eligible. So they still have to hold up there under the bargain and pick up a victory here. They're doing that so far. They're going to need some help from elsewhere, though, as we go into half number 2. Ates Duke with the tally, 45+3. Into the break, Detroit City 1, Westchester nothing. When we return, a look around at USL Jägermeister Cup. What a chaotic ending to the first half here in Hamtramck at Keyword Stadium. Detroit City up 1-0 on Westchester SC. It's pretty straightforward for 45 minutes, and then things took a turn. Welcome back inside the booth alongside Ricky Lopez-Espin. I'm Joe Malfa. Quiet, 0-0 through 45 minutes. Teams playing 11v11. Then a goal happens in stoppage time. A red card happens in stoppage time. And Detroit City doing what they need to do so far.
Chaos, and it's exactly what you want if you are a neutral. But for Detroit City and Danny Dico, you got your first goal. Now can you get your second goal? Can you get your third goal? Can you grow on this momentum? And this second 45 minutes is going to be massive, not only for Jägermeister Cup, but also the momentum in league play for the Detroit City side, because they need to score goals. Autis Youth, Darren Smith, Giselle Cedeno need to get a little bit more in the rhythm and be more ruthless.
And they've, again, gotten all they need to from this game. They still need help elsewhere, Detroit City, but they need goals, they need a win. They're up a man, they're up a goal as we take you back through those first 45 minutes. Early on, a lot of miscues from Detroit City, but they eventually found their moment.
There's just no need from Obregon Jr. at that back post. There is a lot of contact. He pulls down on Momento, so 12 yards out we go, and we continue to talk about this young man. Autis Youth continues to raise eyebrows, and with his quality, finishing ability, and then going back the other way, you knew that Westchester was going to find some opportunities because it was all about goals here. Obregon Jr. tries to catch Saldana off of his line. Easy save. There's a little bit of a coming together between Palma. No need. Already on a yellow card. Detroit City doesn't take kindly to it. Players going down. Chaos comes in. And the other player for Westchester who is on a yellow card gets involved. No need. The immaturity starting to show a little bit. And he takes not one yellow, but a second yellow. 2 yellows is a red. Now Westchester's down a man.
Interesting there. Noah Powder might have actually saved Juan Palma from getting a red card, but he did so by getting his own red card in the process. So 45 down here in Hamtramck. Detroit City up 1-0 and up a man. More to come as we take a look at some highlights from elsewhere in a busy day in the Jägermeister Cup. fans catching their breath a bit here after a chaotic set of stoppage time in the first half sees Detroit City up a man and, more importantly, right now, up a goal. Welcome back inside the booth alongside Ricky Lopez-Espin. I'm Joe Malfa. Ricky, forget our game for a second. It's part of the drama of the day. We've got our eyes everywhere right now in Jägermeister Cup, and we're seeing goals, we're seeing red cards elsewhere, sort of mimicking what we've seen from our game.
As an attacking player, as a soccer fan, you want to see goals. That's all you want, and that's exactly what Jägermeister Cup gives you. We're seeing goals, we're seeing chaos, we're seeing red cards. The list goes on. And as a neutral, just sit back and enjoy the time.
Yeah, we'll take you through some of the highlights now from elsewhere. Again, coming into the day, all 6 groups up for grabs. 23 of the 38 teams alive. Charlotte gets their goal to take the lead on Richmond in their matchup.
It's a fantastic goal from Haregi here. It comes down to the secondary movement. Notice as he crashes towards that far post and a thumping header to give Charlotte the 1-0 lead at halftime.
That, for the time being, brings Charlotte into second place in their group on 9 points, so they're in pole position in the wild card race at the moment. Also elsewhere, a goal for Miami, up 1-0 at halftime on Tormenta.
Evan Hoyos, he's meant everything to this Miami FC side. He's big, he's physical, he gets the end on this header, glancing to find the back of the net for Miami.
And right now in the live table in Group 6, Miami is in first and on their way through to the quarters. This is the game that matters for Detroit City. There was good news, then there was bad news. 30th minute, Makangila picks up a silly second yellow that puts Hartford down a man, but down a man, they end up going up a goal on a brilliant bike from Prestes.
Has to be the goal of this match day. Just notice the technical ability here from Prestes as we take a look at the confirmation from Makagila. He gets his second yellow, which is a red, so now Hartford will be down a man for the remainder of this game. But number 22, middle of your screen, as his ball pops out, just stop that. The athletic ability, the audacity, and the execution to give Hartford the lead at halftime on the road.
That's bad news for Detroit City. It's great news for Hartford because now Hartford actually lead Group 4 with 10 points of their own. Take a look at the news and notes presented by Tigerbaum. We've already had that draw in Jägermeister Cup, so we know which teams are slotted where for the matchups. We'll find out the teams later on. The Kyle Scott news is the big one, though, going overseas.
Kyle Scott goes over to England, where he actually spent some time of his career with Chelsea, but it was writing on the wall. When Stephen Kelly got signed by Orange County, there was always going to be a replacement for Danny Stone, but Kyle Scott was fantastic in Championship and all the best going forward in the English Football League.
There's so much going on right now, whether it's USL Championship, whether it's USL League One, and we still have a lot on our plate here. Second half on the way between Detroit City and Westchester SC. You're watching USL Jägermeister Cup on ESPN. Jägermeister is proud to be the presenting sponsor of the USL Jägermeister Cup. Take a shot at glory and celebrate the magic of this exciting tournament all year long. Please drink responsibly. Ready to get things going in half number 2 at Keyword Stadium. Detroit City in their home rouge from right to left. Westchester in the road whites from left to right. Glad to have you with us on ESPN2 alongside Ricky Lopez-Espin. I'm Joe Malfa, and away we go in half number 2. Buckle up. Detroit City up 1-0 and up a man. Elsewhere, Rhode Island just scored. It's 1-1 against Hartford, so there is so much to keep track of here in Jägermeister Cup, but that's good news for Detroit City, who now would be potentially in position to go through as a wild card team. We'll run through all of it as this half goes along, and it all unfolds. 2 changes at the half for Detroit City. Attacking-minded subs, bringing on Matt Sheldon and Sebastian Guenzati for Reese Williams and Shane Wheat. Jay Chapman looking through, out for Artez Diouf. Diouf delivers. Good step from Williams. Again, it's Diouf. Artez Diouf deflected. Yamazaki keeps it alive. Diouf had the goal in the first half on the penalty, 45+3.
Not even 2 minutes in, we already see Diouf taking up a different position, providing the width here, so now he can go at pace at his individual defender when he does get on the ball. Now you need movement ahead of it. That's when you bring in a player like Sebastian Guenzati that has made a living in around that 18-yard box at just sniffing out half chances.
Bent in from Cedeno, headed away by Palma. Palma, the lone remaining yellow card on the field for Westchester because Noah Powder got sent off right before halftime. Ryan Williams, the only yellow out there for Detroit City. They subbed off the other 2 yellows in Reese Williams and Shane Wheat. Diouf cutting. Chapman. Devin Amu-Mensah stepping up. Diouf there, wanted the give and go. Yamazaki delivering back post. Smith was there, comes all the way through, never got a touch to it. Brian Vasquez just went down on his own, no contact there. I hope it's just a cramp and nothing more for a teenager making his first pro start today. He's capped for El Salvador at the national team level up through U20. Came up through FC Cincinnati's academy, made 1 appearance for them last year. Now this year comes over to Westchester. He is on the roster for some U20 competition coming up later this year into the fall for El Salvador. Working on that left leg. He sort of just took himself out of the play after he seemed to feel something. I've called his name a ton today. He really hasn't had an opportunity to show what he is typically known for. He's an attacking-minded winger for a team that's only had 25% of the ball and been defending a lot. So really haven't seen any opportunities for Vasquez to get out and go.
8 touches for the El Salvadoran Youth international player. We need him to be a little bit more influential because he's a player that Dave Carton was really excited to talk about. The ability to combine, get himself into that final third, and this is a player that he also mentioned in our conversation. Bolaños, very direct, very transitional, just wants to go at you, and they're going to provide a real pace. You take a look there, the signal from the athletic training staff that it'll be an early exit for Vasquez.
It'll be Jonathan Bolaños coming on for Brian Vasquez. It's not what you were hoping for Westchester. Again, a teenager making his first pro start. To see it end this way. Some housekeeping from a competitive standpoint. This would typically be a big blow to a team having to make a sub right out of halftime here and burning one of their substitution windows, but Westchester only have 4 outfield players available today because of the way the injury bug has bitten them as of late. So it won't really factor in from a strategic standpoint for Dave Carton going forward. Bolaños steps on, one of the regular starters for Westchester. Again, Vasquez was just getting the opportunity to start today in this environment, in this situation, giving him his first look. But Bolaños comes in. He's been a first-team All-League player in USL League One, an MVP finalist as well. And he's been terrific this season for Westchester.
Different type of profile now for Bolaños versus Vasquez. Vasquez was a player that wanted to come century, wanted to go and search a game. Bolaños is just going to flat out run. So as Obregon gets on the ball centrally, that in theory should allow Bolaños to be really effective with his vertical running.
Yamazaki. Chapman thinking about it, slots it through. Touched by Guenzati. Blocked by Bobby Pierre. Out for Artes Diouf. Chapman on the prowl, going near post, pulls it wide. Goal kick.
Fantastic recognition here for Detroit City. I just want you to watch as this ball comes out to Diouf. Notice a movement from Yamazaki from a central location. He starts his run, and what that does, he pulls out a center back right here. This ball's going to come out. And number 14, center of your screen, he makes a run towards the corner flag. That pulls out Stephen Payne, and that gives Jay Chapman the ability to be aggressive, to step into that final third. He just pulls it wide. But these are the types of movements and playing off of one another, relationships starting to form that Danny Dicchio needs to see, especially in the attacking phase of play.
Cedeno with options. Nice defensive play made. Rashid Teta. Obregon. It's going to be tough for him to find time on the ball now. With Westchester down a man, has to make the most of any opportunity, but nothing to show for it there.
The big challenge for the attacking players for Westchester down a man. Now, if you do have the ability to get on the ball, you need to do a good job at just holding it up and allowing the teammates underneath you to come and support you. So how do you slow the game down? You have to draw fouls. You have to be really clever on impacting the game if you are that front three for Dave Carton in Westchester.
Substitutions, attacking minded at the half by Detroit City. Up a goal, up a man, but not trying to just preserve this. They need more goals. Artes Diouf looking to supply that, going for goal, saved by Hammersley. Corner coming.
If you give Diouf time and space, he's going to hurt you every single time. Right footer who plays on the left-hand side. So he always wants to come and challenge centrally. As he uses momentum to his favor, he gets Makic off of his line and tries to beat Hammersley at that near post. Good save in the end from the goalkeeper.
Just their second shot on target officially. Artes Diouf delivering from the corner. The header was an open one. Almost seemed to surprise Guenzati, though, as it fell to him in traffic.
See the frustration from Sebastian Guenzati. How many times over the course of his career have we seen him stick this ball into the back of the net? An experienced leader coming in for Detroit City. Big opportunity for him almost to get the second for the home side.
Here's a look at the scores again from elsewhere. It's 1-1 Rhode Island Hartford. That's the one that matters right now.
Need to play Matt Sheldon there. Makes a fantastic run, top side of your screen. If you could just play the ball in behind, now you really pin back Westchester here.
Yamazaki. Diouf. Slots it through. Smith, heavy first touch. Finds it again, looking for goal. Got it all wrong in the end. So here's why that goal was significant for Rhode Island, drawing level 1-1 with Hartford. You see the right side, 8 points each for Hartford and Detroit City. The first tiebreaker is goals scored. It's 8-6 right now in favor of Hartford. So if that result holds, Detroit City need 2 more goals. The second tiebreaker is head-to-head, which is where Detroit City has Hartford. So that's why they're still so offensive-minded right now, even though they're up 1-0, up a man, not just protecting the lead. 2 more goals is what they need to leapfrog Hartford at the moment. Either that or a goal by Rhode Island. And a corner on the way for Detroit City. Something else to keep in mind, another possible permutation of this all. In Jägermeister Cup, if we're tied after 90, we go to a shootout. So if that Hartford-Rhode Island game is still tied, Hartford could win in a shootout and pick up a bonus point and go to 9 and leave Detroit City behind anyway. Something to think about as we go deeper and deeper into this. Now it's Diouf from the corner. Another opportunity, another good service, another misfire. This time it was Matt Sheldon.
At that back post, the second time in a matter of minutes that we've seen Detroit City have the ability to get on the end of good service from Diouf. Talk about that ruthless mentality. You have to go out and attack this ball if you are Matt Sheldon. You cannot allow it to hit yourself. You need to go out and hit it.
In that other game, remember, Rhode Island is up a man on Hartford. 28th minute red card against Beverly Makangila. The yellow card shown here to Andrew Hammersley for time wasting. That's good refereeing there from Atahan Yaya. He knows the situation. He knows that Detroit City, even though they're up, they want the ball in play. This is very much still time wasting by Westchester, even though they're down a man, given the grand scope of the scenario. So a good bit of refereeing there to nip that in the bud. The 6 group winners and 2 wildcard teams go through to the quarterfinals on August 20th. Guenzati. Misplay by Cedeno. Kept alive back to Bryant. Wide for Sheldon.
Great challenge.
Well, Sheldon wins it back. Crowd loves it. What can he do with it next? Sheldon the step over, the service. Did he win a corner? He did. So out of that challenge from Sheldon comes another set piece.
Positive impact for Matt Sheldon since coming onto this field, turning his defense into offense. Great challenge in terms of his timing. And I love to pick up his head and just go at the heart of this back line of Westchester.
Cedeno in swinger, flicked on by Smith. Maybe lost his whereabouts.
That near post run, especially from corner kicks, is so crucial. If you do get on the end of it, you can just help it on and just change the angle. Good ball in from Cedeno, enough power, enough pace. If you're Darren Smith, just let it hit your head and re-guide into that back post area.
Yamazaki. Mensa for Artez Diouf. Looking back post, good service, header, near post, wrong side of it. Did it take a deflection? It did. Cedeno wins a corner.
This near side for Detroit City has been crucial in terms of their attacking presence in the second half. Yamazaki, Artez Diouf doing a good job at just playing off one another.
As it stands, they need 2 more goals. Detroit City whipped in by Cedeno, flicked on by Rashid Teta. Kept alive by Amu Mensah for Detroit City. Back for Yamazaki. It is one-way traffic in this one. You expect it. With Westchester down a man, only so much they can do. Chapman, Diouf, end line. Diouf shot for handball. Not given. He popped it up off the chest, maybe first of Bobby Pierre, then deflecting to the hand. And Amu Mensah gets himself in some hot water here.
This is Obregon Jr. at his best. The recognition to pick up his head and see no one ahead of him. So what does he do? Just simply nutmegs. Evan Mensah takes the contact, and what that does, that gives his side the ability just to breathe, slow the game down, gain some real estate higher up the field, and just put this thing as far away from your defensive goal as you can.
Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the Academy to the big leagues, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest product specials and more. Select, the player's choice. Hammersley puts it back into play. Awkward ball back for Saldana, but not pressured. No trouble for him. Possession in the second half specifically. Forget about the first half for now. Remember that red card for Westchester came in the last moments of first half stoppage time. It's 86-14 the possession in this second half through 15 minutes for Detroit City. Looking for more than just their 1-0 lead. Diouf caught between two minds, lost it. Hour gone, half hour remains. Montez Diouf's penalty in the 3rd minute of first half stoppage time. The difference in this result right now. Detroit City still need good news from elsewhere. Montez Diouf stumbles over the ball, almost regathered. Payne comes away with it and clears. Right now, it's just get the ball down the field and try to catch your breath if you're Westchester and hope Obregon can do something with it.
And just try to play as direct as you possibly can and just relieve some of the pressure that you've been under for all of this second half. So if you are Detroit City, man advantage, you need to use that to your advantage. The ball needs to move quick. You need to be very decisive. And you also have to have a lot of movement ahead of the ball, because how many times have we seen, Joe, you and I, a team that goes down and man actually outplays the team that is at full strength. Complacency starts to creep in. That's a good ball here.
Yamazaki, wasteful in the end as he went for goal. Got it all wrong.
It's a really good ball in from Jay Chapman to Yamazaki, but notice number 23 at the center of your screen. You need to make a move right here. You need to slash behind Bobby Pierre and let Yamazaki just slip you in. As you peel off, now it just plays into the hands of the center back, as he can just stand his ground and provide a shield.
Milestone for Abdoulaye Diop as he takes the field, replacing Jay Chapman. His 100th appearance for Detroit City here in this one today. 8th Centurion in club history. Crowd sings his praises as he trots on. Westchester will counter with a change of their own. Prince Sadie will replace Juan Palma, and this is where they get into some trouble today, Westchester, and how this might tweak the formation and who set up where, and those are some of the instructions that Dave Carton is relaying here. They don't have any defenders on the bench. They only had 3 signed professionals on the bench because of injuries. 1 Academy product who is also a forward, and they bring on Prince Sadie, taking off a center back in Juan Palma, so this could move some pieces around the chessboard.
Really testing Dave Carton, trying to find anything in terms of his flexibility and his tactics. We're going to see Payne drop into the right back position. Johnson actually plays a left back. In a game that you didn't already have a lot of subs, you picked up an early yellow card with Palma. Noah Powder picks up a red card. So it goes from bad to worse for Dave Carton in terms of his availability and how he can dip and use his subs.
Lobbed in from the free kick. Almost falls for Pierre. Cleared sideways by Yamazaki and further away. That's really been where the injury bug has bitten Westchester the hardest, on that back line. Through the first dozen games of the season, they used a different back 4 combination every single game. And it wasn't until games 12 through 14 that they finally had the same center back pairing 3 games in a row. That is how hard they've been hit on the back line with injuries. Diouf, only exacerbated today by that red card to Noah Powder in the first half. Diop. Diouf. Yamazaki looks over the shoulder. Just a rondo right now between those 3 guys. Diop trying to switch, he does. Flag stays down. Cedeno lays it off for Guenzati, deflected and gathered by Hammersley.
Fantastic ball from Diop, just puts this thing on a rope into Cedeno. But now, if you are Cedeno, you need to be quicker to recognize Sebastian Guenzati play it off right now into the path of 23. It's a second too long. That gives Bobby Pierre the ability just to step up and close that window of space. You talk about tempo and decision-making, Exhibit A that is lacking for Detroit City.
Free kick on the way. Sebastian Guenzati draws it. They played quickly, through for Jope looking centrally. Not a bad idea for Detroit City. They earn a corner out of it.
Second time that we've seen Detroit City just try to catch Westchester napping. And it is Cedeno here, number 10. Great recognition and understanding between Jope and Cedeno.
Now from the corner, Smith flicks on, the header wide. They are trying to just take advantage of Westchester's slow recoveries right now. The quick kick, the quick corner kick. And now a referee slows things down. Westchester trying to slow things down on their own. Player goes down. This is wise, and maybe wily and veteran from Okiyoshi after seeing a quick free kick and a quick corner. .24 minutes plus stoppage remaining. Detroit City in third in Group 4 at the moment. Montez Diouf works it back. They need to climb to second to be wild card eligible. The 6 group winners and the 2 best second place teams make the quarters. Chested down by Sheldon, and he commits the foul.
His first touch lets him down here, Matt Sheldon. Actually does a really good job at making this run, but if you can get your touch out of your body, now you can just dash right in front of Bolaños and not let him recover well.
Here's some of the scores from elsewhere. The most important one, Rhode Island, Hartford. Some other teams factoring into the wild card chase for Detroit City as they try to leapfrog some teams, and they need plenty of results to go their way. But the most important thing is that Hartford-Rhode Island game. There's no eligibility for a wild card spot for Detroit City in third place. Need to get to second. Need a Rhode Island goal or 2 of their own here. Cedeno looking for Guenzati. A few years ago, Guenzati probably gets there.
But this time, if you are Cedeno, you need to take a second longer go at Bobby Pierre and make him step into you. And when he does, that's when you play into Guenzati.
Up to 34 years of age now, has dealt with some injuries. That's why he's in this super sub role for Detroit City. He has a great nose for goal still. He's one of the all-time leading goal scorers in USL Championship. Guenzati pressuring here. Diouf closes down as well. Okiyoshi plays out of it, but his ball left something to be desired.
Bottom of your screen, really good run here from Yamazaki.
It's Diouf going for goal instead. Yamazaki had his palm stretched skyward. He wanted that ball, as you pointed out, Ricky.
Fantastic recognition from the weak-sided wingback, but if you're Diouf now, you have two decisions that you need to make. You either play it into Yamazaki, or at the very least, you need to make Hammersley make a save here. You're about 17 yards out. You need to hit the target. We talk about a player of his quality needing more production. Exhibit A, you need to put that on target there.
Soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of USL. Get all your tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site, SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. '20 minutes plus stoppage remaining at Keyword Stadium. Glad to have you with us on ESPN2. Alongside MLS veteran Ricky Lopez-Espin, I'm Joe Malfa. Final day of group play in the 2025 USL Jägermeister Cup. All 6 groups still up for grabs, so are the wild cards. Detroit City must win and get some help to be alive in the wild card chase. Up a goal, up a man, looking for more now from this corner. Cedeno's in-swinger, Smith gets a flick on, still loose. Amumensa! One of the club favorites delivering for Le Rouge!
Talked about that near post run for Darren Smith, so important and so crucial from corner kicks, and simply you just need to redirect it into a dangerous area. And as this ball comes back, this is all about Devin Amumensa. First predicting, anticipating, and just wants it more than every single player in a white jersey. Attacks the ball, no chance for Hammersley, and gives Detroit City their second in this match.
Amumensa's been with the club since 2022. He won the Black Arrow Award as Detroit City's Players Player of the Year. He's been a fan favorite for his time with the club, especially after he tore his ACL in 2022. Really close ties to the community as he battled his way back and returned in 2023. He has been a set it and forget it center back when filling out the lineup card week in, week out, wearing that captain's armband. He gets his just due on that goal. And it has big implications in this wild card chase, potentially. Now the other way for Bolaños. Amumensa defending. He scores on one end, he makes the play on the other. As it stands, Detroit City still in third in Group 4. They need to ascend to second in order to be wild card eligible. First tiebreaker is goals scored. They are 1 goal away now from tying Hartford in goals scored, from leapfrogging them because of the second tiebreaker being head-to-head. So they need still another goal, Detroit City, plus help from elsewhere. They're at least holding up their end of the bargain through 72 minutes. And that is all they can do. I had a good conversation with their head coach, Danny Dicchio, about just that. A team that has been in a rut in terms of results, in terms of goal scoring. Coming into the day, the mentality is simple. Let's win, let's score 3 goals or so in the process, and then the chips fall where they may. They're on their way to a win, it seems. They're a goal away from that 3-goal target. Then it's a matter of the chips falling where they may.
Control what you can control was the message for Danny Dicchio. And the things that you need to control is your work rate, your efficiency, and trying to stick the ball in the back of the net as many times as you possibly can. Been a good showing for Detroit City, not only with the result, but just the intensity, specifically in this second half, knowing that they can dip into this type of tempo when needed. Danny Dicchio, you're looking at this and say, why can't we do this the whole time?
Amumensa picked up some electrolytes as he slid into the bench there, downed it, and got back out there. It is the Jägermeister Cup. We do say, take your shot at glory around here. I don't think that was a shot of Jägermeister. I would hope not, at least, but some electrolytes for Devin Amumensa. The best news Detroit City can get right now is a goal by Rhode Island. It's 1-1. Rhode Island hosting Hartford in El Clamico, that derby in the USL Championship. It's 1-1, Rhode Island up a man with 12 minutes to go. The caveat in this tournament, if it's tied after 90, it goes to a shootout. So if that goes to a shootout and Hartford wins in the shootout, Detroit City is dead in the water. They cannot advance at that point. Essentially, Detroit City need to be at least 2 points better than Hartford today. Whether that's a regulation win and a Hartford shootout loss, or whether that's a Detroit City shootout win, a Hartford regulation loss, Detroit City regulation win, Hartford regulation loss, any of those 3 results, right now they're not quite getting it yet. Unless Hartford were to lose in a shootout, should they get there. keep you abreast still of all the scenarios from abroad in Jägermeister Cup. For now, Detroit City hunt another goal that they still need as Hammersley secures it. Right now, Detroit City out shooting Westchester 21-3. They're a division higher in the USL Championship against the USL League One team. Sure, that factors in, but what has loomed largest is that first half red card by Westchester that has just been straight defensive mode ever since.
Just no real options for Westchester going forward now. Every single time Bolaños or Obregon get on the ball, just isolated versus that whole back three for Detroit City. So if you do try to play direct, as we expect for Westchester, now you need to have the ability to win those second duels and just try to get some breathing room, just like this from Bolaños.
Play on, Obregon picks it up. A lot of space here for JC Obregon. Has some support, lays it off for Sadie. Sadie deflected, corner.
Good recognition here from Obregon that no one's going to react and pick up this second ball. Exactly what I just mentioned. And now you need to go at pace. You need to engage Devin Almumensa. It's a bit too early at this ball. Notice how wide it sends Prince Sadie, but he needs to go with his right foot. Hit it first time and just smack it across to face a goal.
Whipped in from the corner. In theory, it wouldn't be a dagger to Detroit City if they concede here, because goal differential is not the key. It's goals scored. But they do need to win. So getting it to 2-1 just makes it a little hairier in terms of getting the win, of course. But goal differential doesn't matter, it's goals scored. So if they concede, they concede. Diouf through for Smith, flag stays down. Darren Smith looking for a third. It deflects out for a corner.
Just a handful to defend Darren Smith. Early on in the championship season, his runs have been fantastic as Youth brings in Teton. Now that gives him the ability to run in behind. Good recognition and recovery run from Bobby Pierre yet again. Had himself a really good game through 77 minutes.
Diouf's corner. Good news elsewhere for Detroit City. Rhode Island have taken a 2-1 lead on Hartford Athletic. 81st minute, Rhode Island up a goal and up a man. So now as it stands, Detroit City holding up its end of the bargain and getting the help it needs from elsewhere. They would be in second. They would be wild card eligible, and there's your look at it officially. Detroit City in second on 8 points. Hartford drops to third on 7 points. Rhode Island would win the group. And that match, as I mentioned, is in the 82nd minute now. We're in the 78th. Factor in stoppage time. Stands to reason we'll know the result elsewhere before this result goes final. So as it stands, Detroit City don't need to score anymore to track down Hartford. The Rhode Island lead gives them that second place position. Tempers flaring again here. We saw this at the end of the first half, leading to the Noah Powder second yellow. So far, Ricky, this has been what Danny Dicchio wanted for Detroit City. Winning position, couple of goals banged in. Now they need a lot of help still from elsewhere. They're starting to get that help with Rhode Island up on Hartford. Still, of course, a dozen minutes to go, but you have to characterize this as a really strong day for Detroit City in the grand scheme of things so far.
Fantastic for Danny Dicchio, exactly what you would have wanted when in a game like this. The mentality has been fantastic for Detroit City, the want, the intensity, but also just the movement ahead of the ball. How many times have you and I had the ability to speak with Danny Dicchio over the course of a season and say, we just need more movement. We need to have that ruthless mentality once the ball gets into that final third. We need to get more numbers into the attacking third. We've seen all of that for Detroit City. They've been playing quick. They've been have a lot of intent in the way that they go about that final action, playing off of one another. It's been a really good showing in the attacking phase of game for the home side.
Tell you what, Ricky, this is living up to the billing here on the final day of group play in Jägermeister Cup. All the drama. Hartford just scored. Down a man. They were down 2-1. Now it's 2-2. We'll show you that what that means in the group standings once again momentarily once it updates for us. But just got word of that goal for Hartford. Now 2-2. Cedeno lays it off. Blocked on the way through. Cleared from Westchester. This is exactly what the tournament designers had in mind when they set this up.
If you're neutral, you're loving this. Expecting goals, expecting chaos, attacking soccer makes life very enjoyable just to sit back and take it all in.
Whipped in, looking back post, touched away by Hammersley, taking no chances. And another corner coming now. Good effort from Cedeno.
He's had himself a really good game, Cedeno. There's no pressure on the ball. Why not call your own number on your preferred left foot? And this thing is moving. It is dipping. It has bend on it.
They go quick off the corner. Comes back to Cedeno on the right foot, blocked again. A foul and a yellow coming. Yamazaki accepting it, knowing his fate there.
Professional foul from Yamazaki. Knows exactly what he's doing. Understands that Prince Sadie probably has the whole back line beat for pace. So he takes one lock touch around him. And notice how he just moves in front of him. Impedes a transitional moment deserving of a yellow card from Yamazaki.
This is 16-year-old Christian Manchano coming on for Westchester SC. Academy player signed to an academy contract today to be that fifth man for them on the bench. With the way the injury bug has bitten them, good opportunity to showcase one of their young academy products. 10 minutes, get his feet wet a bit in the crucible of this competition. Not linking up in the attacking half for Westchester. Seemingly a little bit overmatched today, and the red card not helping. They have a difficult slate coming up, Westchester. Yamazaki just picked up a yellow, so he's got to be careful not to pick up another one in rapid succession. And it's actually a throw for Detroit City now.
Should have been a foul. You see every single person of the Westchester bench on their feet. Prince Sadie, clever in the way that he just goes around Yamazaki. I think Detroit get away with one here.
First touches here. Manchano brought down. Again, 16 years old, just signed his academy contract this morning to make his Westchester debut tonight.
What an opportunity it is. Manchano, they're not in an environment like this. How hostile it is here at Keyworth. The intensity, real experience for the young man just to see what it's like to play at this level.
Yamazaki took a deflection, still loose. Guenzati trying to make something of it, loose in front. Comes across, Cedeno was waiting. Manchano pokes it away. Williams serving. Player down now is Okiyoshi for Westchester. He was down a moment ago. Play was continuing, so he got up and tried to trudge through it. But goes back down now. So here's a look, again, a new update. They're coming thick and fast now. We showed it to you a moment ago when it was 2-1 Rhode Island. Now Hartford made it 2-2. And because of the fact that, again, it's goals scored, not goal differential, normally there wouldn't be a difference between a 1-1 tie and a 2-2 tie. But a 2-2 tie versus a 1-1 tie for Hartford now puts them 2 goals clear of Detroit City again. So it's 6 plus stoppage in this one. If there's no update from that game and it finishes 2-2, that means Detroit City now have to get to 4 goals at the dying moment of this game. Either that or hope Rhode Island just wins that one 3-2. They're in the 88th minute there. So running out of time to get that Rhode Island victory.
I expect Danny Dicchio and Detroit City to elect to play direct, to play Route 1, and just to pump the ball into a dangerous area. Yes, you want to play beautiful soccer. You want to break in between lines, but now it's all about being effective. How many times can you get a good opportunity for the remainder of this game will be the top priority for Detroit City.
'89th minute in Rhode Island. 2-2 the score. If it stays tied, it goes to a shootout. And Detroit City's fate would rest on that shootout. They would need Rhode Island to win it. Played through here, Guenzati. Diouf screaming for it. Guenzati goes for a goal. That ball has to go through to Atez Diouf there.
What a golden opportunity that is from Guenzati, and a player of his experience has to pick up his head and see Diouf in acres of space.
Obregon. On it again, JC Obregon. Looking back post, it's been a little bit disappointing as a neutral. You haven't really gotten to see JC Obregon in full form today because of the red card. 14 goals leads the way for Westchester. Now Atez Diouf the other end. Diouf calls his own number, puts it wide. Back-to-back plays for Detroit City where the better option might have been to lay it off, and they have nothing to show for it.
You have a numerical advantage in two back-to-back situations for Detroit City. You have Ryan Williams making this near post run. You have Darren Smith and Sebastian Guenzati all alone at that far post. If you cut Sentry and you become selfish here, you need to hit the target. You need to hit the back of the net there. It's the second time that we've seen Atez Diouf do a good job at opening up a window, but not having enough quality just to force a save of Hammersley.
27th shot for Detroit City. 5 of those on target. And that right there, just the 6th shot for Westchester in this one.
And in that situation, Joe, you do not need to go for power. You do not need to put your laces through it. You just simply need to open up your hips and just pass it. You're close in proximity, so picking out a corner is your best bet.
Here's Manchano debuting for Westchester, the 16-year-old, saved by Saldana. That is how you endear yourself to your manager in your debut at 16.
He's provided some real good impact, Manchano. Just with his energy and his directness, you see the physical attributes. I think he takes a little bit too long to pull the trigger here. Once you arrive to this ball right now, you do not need to take that second touch. In doing that, you just cut down the angle and allow Saldana to come across his near post. What's the little nuances, the game tempo, the timing, and the ruthlessness that you need if you want to succeed as an attacking player in the championship.
From the corner for Westchester, just over Rashid Teta. Another change on the way here for Detroit City. It's Obeid for Williams. Strong day for Ryan Williams. Amu Mensah found the second goal for Detroit City, plays it out to Yamazaki. Sheldon. Cedeno. As it stands, Detroit City need 2 more goals. Running out of time. Either that or a goal from elsewhere in stoppage time by Rhode Island. Jope. Cedeno delivering back post. Guenzati hanging loose in front. They put it home. Matt Sheldon gives Detroit City more life near the death.
Fantastic addition to this game, Matt Sheldon, just with his quality, his work rate, but also the recognition of as this ball comes wide to Guenzati, you need to secondary action and crash towards that far post. Great ball back across from Sebastian Guenzati to understand, I don't have an angle, but I have two teammates that are in a better body position. If I just put this thing into the mixer, you need Sheldon to get on the end of it. Good goal from the outside back.
90th minute at Keyword Stadium. Drama continues to build. It's exactly what we all could have asked for in the finale of group play in Jägermeister Cup. Here's Sheldon again. End line, Sheldon earns a corner. Told there will be 5 additional minutes. Detroit City need a goal, and they need help still from Rhode Island. More on that in a moment. Cedeno in swinger. Yamazaki. Into stoppage time now, 5 minutes of it. Yamazaki. Atez Diouf cutting in. Diouf lost it. Obregon trying to clear it. Amu Mensah pressuring, making life difficult. And the whistle goes against Detroit City. Today's Prince Tires MVP of the match is Devin Amu Mensah. Fan favorite here in Detroit, scored the second goal, which at the time, plus the result from elsewhere, put Detroit City in a wild card position. And now they need more help from elsewhere or another goal in the dying moments. But he's had a standout day for Le Rouge.
On and off the ball, Devin Amu Mensah continues to impress for Detroit City. That is a fantastic ball from Sheldon.
Second, though, touch from Cedeno wastes the moment.
When you have a center back like Devin Amu Mensah, that is just so good in terms of his 1v1 ability, but also comfortable on the ball. It just instills confidence for every single one of his teammates around him and allows him to be more aggressive. One of the most underrated center backs in all of the USL Championship.
Those of you looking for Premier Lacrosse League action, you can catch JT Giles Harris and the Denver Outlaws against the Utah Archers coming up at the conclusion of this game here on ESPN2. Halfway through stoppage time at Keyword Stadium. Detroit City still need another goal, plus some help from elsewhere. Yamazaki scooped up by Hammersley. In the 7th minute of stoppage time in Rhode Island, only 6 minutes were given initially, so the final whistle coming any moment there. At this point, Detroit City need Rhode Island to win that shootout, though, still, plus get another goal of their own here. You worry about the other game when this one's done. For now, you just focus on getting a 4th goal that you desperately need. Whipped in, too much. Goal kick. A minute and change remaining here, Ricky. It looks, as it stands, like Detroit City might come up just short. But for a team that was in a rut, 3-0 still counts for something as far as looking forward and back to the regular season.
Danny Dichio wanted to grow momentum from this game, not only to have hope of advancing into the Jägermeister Cup, but also once league play returns for Detroit City, where they've struggled mightily to try to find the back of the net or just to create anything going forward. A game like this where you see the ball hit the back of the net not once but 3 times is going to do a world of good for Detroit City and Danny Dichio. Now, what is the next step in the progression? You need to continue to find the consistency in front of goal, and a player that needs to step up and start producing alongside USL Youth is Darren Smith. Really quiet match for your leading goal scorer, Darren Smith.
On the other side, still heads held high for Westchester, the USL League One side that's been coming into their own as of late in their inaugural season. You've been down a man since the first half in a hostile environment. There's only so much you can do, and they've had some positive moments still within that.
The mentality has been fantastic for Westchester. Did not have anything to lose. Went after this game. Unfortunate to pick up that red card, but still the 95th minute continuing to fight, continuing to show what it means to wear the Westchester badge and trying to create a culture for Dave Carton. This team has a lot of talent. Now they're just starting to find the consistency in terms of their lineup. Players starting to build relationships, understanding the roles within the system. So expect this Westchester side to make a real push in the second half of the USL League One season.
Chance here to find something at the end for Westchester. Some contact there edge of the area. Referee says play on. One last chance here for Detroit City. Try and find this fourth goal. Clear out challenge there. Referee plays advantage. Fed through, flag stays down. Guenzati mishandles it, now turning. Guenzati lays it off. Chance for Smith, patient, drops it back for Joe, puts it wide. And there is the final whistle. Detroit City gave it a valiant charge, winning this one 3-0 at home. But with Rhode Island, Hartford going to penalties and the scores as they are not eligible for a wild card spot in going through.
Still a lot to be proud of if you are Danny Dichio. You knew he was always going to challenge his attacking players to go out and search this game and produce and express themselves. They did that. But again, you need more quality and consistency of finding the back of the net. As we take a look at the live standings, Detroit end this group in 3rd place.
Another goal toward the end there would have put them in position, depending on the outcome of that penalty shootout between Rhode Island and Hartford. But not getting that 4th goal already guarantees the end. For Westchester, a valiant effort. For Detroit City, they gave it a go. They put on a show for these home fans, but they will come up just short. Still plenty of action to come the rest of the evening in the USL Jägermeister Cup. You can catch it on ESPN+, so make sure to head to the app and flip around to catch some of the other action. If you're looking for Premier Lacrosse League action, it's coming up next here on ESPN2. The crew that makes this possible, broadcast partner Ricky Lopez-Espin, I'm Joe Malfa saying so long for now. Detroit City win it 3-0 over Westchester, but they fall just short of wild card eligibility. Thanks for watching the USL Jägermeister Cup on ESPN.